Hey there, I'm Jesse, and you're listening to the Deep Lore Boys podcast, where me, Matthew, and Jackson delve into the random, rare, and often ridiculous pieces of human history.
This rod went straight through the middle of the skull.
Rest in peace to the lads that lost their lives over the bucket war.
I just can't contain it. I need to take my socks off with the boys.
Can we talk about this right now? Scout has been running in circles, just dragging his butt along like the bed and then the wall, and then hitting the dog crate and spinning. He's
Dude, excited. He knows season 2 has begun.
He is really pumped right now.
He's
I have
psyched
not
up.
seen him this happy in a while. All right, everybody, welcome back to Deep Lore Boys podcast.
Yeah!
Season 2, everybody. Yeah.
Am I the only one clapping? Yeah, there we
Season
go.
2. And fellas, it's been a minute.
It's been a hot minute.
A minute.
The queen died.
The queen died.
The queen is dead. Yeah.
The queen is dead, everybody.
Woo, yeah. God rest her soul.
Rest in peace.
That is actually legitimately sad news. We left for stinking a couple weeks, and actually,
I think she actually died before the season finale came out.
Shortly before the finale, but she died in between us recording that episode and the episode actually going up. So some stuff went down. It's been a while since we got back on the podcast, but we are here and we are here to stay.
We've had a bit of a so-called drought of clout.
I would argue the contrary, honestly.
We did gain a couple subscribers in our hiatus.
Please give us clout,
guys. We do this. Please, we do this. Just
I am on my
knees.
knees.
I need 1,000 subscribers. Please, if we can just hit 1,000, I can get monetized.
I dumped my entire bank account into Bitcoin and lost my money. I
miss my family. My wife left me. She says I'm a disgrace. I need clout.
The War of the Bucket. This is a story that inspired this podcast, and I cannot believe I haven't talked about it yet on here.
This is the first time I've heard about it.
Basically, in Italy, back in the 1300s, there were these two rival city-states that were fighting against each other, and one of the cities stole a bucket from the well in another city. They just took a bucket, and the city that was taken from got real mad and went and attacked the other one, and it was a 30,000 man battle versus 5,000, and somehow they still lost. And the bucket is on display to this day in a church in Italy.
It says, the second line in the article just says, a common myth surrounding the War of the Bucket is that it was caused
No, don't read that. No, that's not true.
That doesn't make any sense to me, though, because why would you call it the War of the Bucket if it's not caused by them stealing the bucket?
Because the battle happened. This isn't a weird,
happened.
Goofy, mythical story. It clearly happened. The bucket is there on display. We have the records. It's just people don't want to believe that, all it takes is one bucket to push a man over the edge.
Yeah, all it takes is a bucket. To be fair, either way, these cities clearly had
it out for each other.
They had
clearly
beef.
Did not like each other at all.
It was basically in the era where everybody was like, the Pope is great. No, he's not. And they'd fight.
Not capitalism. Catholicism.
Catholicism, yeah. Yeah, it's it was a very religious beef that they had
God
with each
played
other.
a big role in this beef, is all I'm saying. I love how they sent 32,000 men after a bucket. I love how we also darn well know that this is not why the war was caused. And
no, what are you talking about? It 100% was, dude. Listen, the Wikipedia doesn't even shoot down the theory. It just says it's probably
no. It literally says that is mostly incorrect. As the
mostly is
incorrect.
Not totally.
Mostly incorrect, I should say. Not completely. According to most accurate accounts, the bucket was taken as a trophy after the war. I don't know why you would take a bucket, call the war the War of the Bucket,
make sense.
and then put it in a museum.
Yeah, see, that doesn't make sense. You know what that is? That is code for,
Well,
I don't want history to be goofy.
Yeah,
so
surely they didn't go to war over a bucket.
That would be preposterous. Yeah, no, this was 100% started by the bucket being stolen
look at this
from the
bucket.
well.
Okay, this bucket we gotta put on screen for the viewers. They deserve to see this.
Yeah, you better
Never
put
mind.
it up there.
This is a good bucket. I would be
It's a
pretty
good
mad
bucket.
if somebody stole it.
Yeah, it is a nice looking bucket.
I actually really
you see?
like this
You
bucket.
see?
It looks like the one Pippin throws down the well.
Yeah, that's
in
a
Lord
nice
of the
bucket.
Rings.
Wait, this bucket is like 1,000 years old.
It's an old bucket, dude. This happened in the 1300s, and the bucket was probably made before then. So yeah, for those
That's
of
an
you
old bucket.
watching the podcast on YouTube, we're gonna throw up a picture of this bad boy on the
Yeah,
screen.
you guys get to see
so
it
you can
with
see
your
it
own
with
two
your
eyes. You can
Wait,
see
does that say Pippin
the
on it?
bucket.
Do you guys reckon that the bucket in this story had any like emotional significance? Like maybe it was like the bucket that was given to the king or the mayor by his
Yeah.
wife who died or something like.
The bucket was made from the wood of the last tree left in the city.
What if the bucket was signed by the Pope?
The bucket was used by the Pope to get water out of the well.
Oh, and it became the holy bucket. He blessed it.
Yes. Rest in peace to the lads that lost their lives over the bucket war.
Yeah, for real.
I like this. This is just a classic. If it was not about the bucket, we would probably not be talking about this at all. There were literally hundreds of wars during the Middle Ages all over Europe between city-states.
Yes.
Where they would just get really mad at each other,
then just fight.
People fight, and then just, like, that is literally just feudalism. It was all over Europe. That's just how it was.
So this was a 300-year-long struggle, though.
Yeah.
And apparently
Yeah,
this was
yeah.
just part of it.
Yeah.
No, this wasn't the first or last time they fought. There have surely been skirmishes like this, maybe in Italy, maybe in other places in the world, that were also just completely petty.
Oh, yeah.
I'm thinking of like the Pig War was
Pig
one that
War.
I'm vaguely aware of, where like somebody stole a pig or killed a pig or something and everybody went nuts.
Yeah. Hold up. When did that happen?
The Pig War was a confrontation in 1859 between the US and the UK over the British-US border in the San Juan Islands. So they were fighting over who owned what part of the islands. The war was named the Pig War because it was triggered by the shooting of a pig.
Rest in peace.
Aside from the pig, there were no casualties on either side. Okay, well, that's more bloodless than the War of the Oaken Bucket. Lyman Coulter, an American farmer who had moved onto the San Juan Islands, claimed his rights to live there. And he found a pig rooting in his garden and eating his tubers,
yeah.
and he shot the pig and killed it. And the pig was owned by an Irishman named Charles Griffin. And so the two of them got pretty mad, it looks like.
Yeah, that just sounds like some classic beef. Like, he shot my pig.
Oh,
what was your pig
Well,
doing?
your pig was eating my garden.
Eating my tubers. That just sounds like some good beef right there.
Yeah.
It was good beef.
But
Apparently,
then it turned into a whole military escalation.
So how did the military get involved in this thing?
well, so basically what had happened, let's just summarize that, was Lyman Coulter, Cutler, he had claimed, like, this is my land. I own this land. The United States owns this land here. And our Irish friend, Charles Griffin, was like, yeah, they don't own that land. I own that land. It's their
Was that your best
UK.
Peter Griffin impression?
That was my best Peter Griffin, pastor's kid Peter Griffin impression. And then the government was like, well, actually, that's a good question.
Yeah, because then they realized, wait, whose land is this then? And it
Yeah.
turned into a whole big, land. And the moment
Land?
the military finds out there's unclaimed land.
If there was oil, it would have been a war.
Yeah, if there was oil, this would have escalated.
Oh, yeah, this would have gone way further.
Yeah. So the pig war, long story short, if you see a pig that's eating your tubers, try not to shoot it.
At least until you're very sure
yeah,
that
unless you know what country-
you own the land.
If you're going to commit something that's legally questionable,
do it on American soil.
yeah, find out which country you live in first, is all I'm saying. Oh, they actually have photographs of the farm in which this man shot the pig.
Oh, wow. That's a big farm.
A nice farm, yeah.
Shoot. I can see why he wanted to keep the pig off there.
I'm not sure if this is like a really well-known thing or like if nobody knows about the Gay Bomb, because I've met a lot of people that know about it, but for the 7 of you that don't, or the 7,000 of you that don't, It's a bomb that makes you gay.
That will
is the
make you
entire
gay.
concept of it. The U.S. government literally tried to make a bomb that would like release like pheromones into the atmosphere or something.
And it would supposedly make all the soldiers like really aggressively affectionate, I suppose.
It was supposed to, you'd sniff the gay gas and you would
And
turn gay.
Not the gay gas.
I think your mom sniffed some gay gas.
Yeah, your mom sniffs
Ayo.
the gay gas. Dude.
This is the most like politically correct homophobic thing ever.
Yeah, like
I
this is
can't-
Yeah,
it's hard to say if this is homophobic or not.
Like I think it is because
I think the purpose of it was to make them gay so they can't focus on what they're doing, which
Well,
that's
like that-
homophobic.
Are you?
Or
I can't
blatantly.
imagine though when there's bullets whizzing over your head, gunfire, smoke, your friends are dying
All you're
around
thinking about.
All you're thinking about is like, man,
Oh,
Jeff is looking
man.
good today. Like,
man.
I just can't contain it. I need to take my socks off with the boys.
You never know, man. If the pheromones are strong enough, man, you never
I
know.
guess they'd have to be really heckin' strong. The gay bomb sounds like it would be an absolutely just. I don't know that it would affect the battle that much. It would just affect you like going home because you'd have to
Yeah.
live with like
If
I don't know. There was that one weird day in the trenches where all of a sudden cowboys started looking real, real scrumptious.
To be fair, like, would it last forever, or would it just be like
No, you would just have the memory of like, oh man,
the memory?
that was
of
weird.
being
I was gay for
a
like
bit?
a day.
You're just like, oh frick, man, that was weird, and you just switch back to it.
This is just a sign of how the times have changed.
Yeah,
Like,
this is
back in the day,
you
this was an
couldn't-
actual military project putting together the gay bomb. Nowadays, I'm like scared to even post this on our podcast because Twitter will descend.
Twitter will be mad. Honestly, I don't think they'll be too mad. I think we're okay. But I need to say, we keep saying back in the day. We keep saying like, yeah, this is really old. This is back in the day. This was 1994.
Yeah, it really wasn't
This-
like
this is not
it
that
wasn't
old.
like
Your
way,
parents
way
were
back.
probably alive. This is new. This is fresh.
hold on. I'm sorry. I thought that this was in World War II. I thought that was like the
No.
No, this was much more recent.
When they were trying to make this, they also proposed a heavy sweating bomb and a flatulence bomb.
Ayo, what the flatulence bomb
It
about?
literally is a bomb that releases odors that make you fart.
Oh, I thought it was just a bomb that smelled really bad, but it's
No,
a bomb that
the
makes
bomb
you smell really bad.
Literally makes you fart. And the other one was
Terrible.
a heavy sweating bomb that makes you sweat really bad. There's also another one, a halitosis bomb that gives you bad breath.
Okay, but for real, have you ever been out in the hot and maybe you're working, you're moving stuff? I don't know, splitting logs with the fellow lumberjacks out in the woods, and you're just sweating a ton. All of your clothes are sticking to you. It's 90 degrees out. Like that is actually miserable. And then being covered in full like camo and a bunch of gear. You got a backpack
That
on,
would be-
probably
oh,
a
yeah.
helmet.
No,
like,
a bomb
for the
that makes you
military.
sweat really bad could be absolutely detrimental to the other.
But the thing
Like,
is, what's the
the-
purpose of it over just like an incendiary bomb or anything?
That's
like
the
that? Just,
problem.
like, the other
It's
Yeah,
side
like-
it
of
doesn't
power.
really do it. And that's the thing with the gay bomb is like, I guess it's
Okay,
a lot
it
more
could work.
humane. Like, it's way more humane than killing people.
Well, I
Yeah,
think
but
it could
it's
be
also-
counterintuitive though, because what if all the soldiers get like, this new sense of camaraderie? Like, I love you, man. I love you too. Wait, what?
Yeah.
Huh? And then they just
Yeah, what do you do when you just drop the gay bomb and now you just have a gay army that you have to fight? Like, you've just strengthened your
aggressively
enemy.
gay. There have been no well-controlled scientific studies published, that is, suggesting the possibility that this would actually work and cause behavioral changes in humans.
They hushed it up like the Ark of the Covenant.
Yeah, it
Or
was like-
Bigfoot. They were just like, no. Like,
Would you
can't-
rather discover the Ark of the Covenant or the gay bomb?
You know, like
They've got one stashed in ice somewhere. Like, no, it can never be used. It can't be trusted in the hands
well,
of
you
humankind.
know, like at the ending of Raiders of the like at the ending of Raiders of the Lost Ark when they put
like
the
the-
Ark in the box, they seal it up, and they put it in like the boxes with all the other boxes, and then they label
Yeah,
it,
it's
like-
stashed away. The gay bomb is just stashed away in Area 51 somewhere.
Somewhere. So I realized the other day we've done like 24 episodes. This will be our 25th, and still we've really done nothing more than like a name drop for the three of us. Like we're just these faceless figures out in the void, bestowing the deep lore upon the masses. So to give you a bit of an idea who we are, I guess I'll open up. I'm Jesse. What's good? I work in radio. I like to play D&D. I had a YouTube channel for a while, which I won't name drop. You'll have to just go find it somewhere. It's not like it's linked on the Deep Lore Boys channel page or anything.
It's not linked in there. You won't,
no,
you won't find
right
it.
there. I was very much the 2016 funny moments gamer montage type kid, but I was also like, I won't say I was 9, but I looked like I was 9, so it didn't.
Yeah,
really
you
do
looked
my
like you
channel
were
any
9
favors.
until you turned like 18. I'm not.
Yeah, I really did. My voice sounded like I was a child until I turned 18.
Yeah, you were literally a child until you became a man. There was.
That's pretty much. I remember the day I
was
woke
nothing.
up and I was 2 feet taller, had rippling biceps, a 6-pack, and a voice as deep as the mountains.
Oh, Scout is not having that.
He didn't like that. This is Scout. He's our celestial guardian, warding off lizard people and reptilians.
Yeah, Scout is the most important member of the podcast. He keeps us safe from all sorts of foul beasts from the world and beyond.
Good boy. Yeah.
Is that the voice of an angel? The angel of death?
The sound of God.
Coming out of Scout. So Matthew, give us a breakdown, a character analysis here.
So I am Matthew, the based fellow of the podcast here. I kind of base my entire personality and being based off of like Al from Al's Toy Barn and Toy Story 2. Basically, if you picture him, that's me. He's literally me.
Man, I have never heard a more spot-on
you
comparison.
at all, but that's
He is just like me for real.
Matthew is an avid connoisseur of anything goofy. It was actually you that introduced me to cursed images as a whole.
I am, in a sense, like a human embodiment of
Of
cursed images. Most
Yeah, that
images
about adds
I'm
up.
in wind up feeling cursed in a sense, and I was kind of raised on that surrealism. That's just who I am as a person. So
Imagine if you took the like really cringe Minecraft nerd kid from middle school and then forced him to watch like 2,000 murders so that the person just became really like macabre, but then somehow made him take a class in stand-up comedy. That would be the personality of Matthew.
honestly, what's funny is that that's exactly what happens.
Wait, you were forced to watch 2,000 executions?
Jigsaw tied you up and he was like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna force you to watch more executions than you have diamonds in Minecraft.
Dude, at that
No.
moment I knew. I was like, oh,
You knew it
frick,
was
man.
over.
At that point, yeah, I just had to sit there. I watched all the Saw movies. Every way a human can be killed, I've seen it. Okay, so yeah, I'm Matthew. I'm on a podcast. Picture
Mhm.
Al from Al's Toy Barn, but I've witnessed over 2,000 murders.
And that's that pretty much
that's
sums
me.
him up right
That's
there.
me.
Jackson.
Yeah, Jackson on the
Jackson.
podcast, everybody.
Jackson on the podcast.
Jackson on the podcast. Woo.
So, like, I thought that I'd have a lot to say here, but honestly, I'm just finding myself like that red shoulder demon at the ending of the Trumu commercial.
What?
Like, I just lost for words. Like, honestly,
What?
I got
What?
nothing. Like,
Does anybody have any idea of what you're talking about?
Okay,
you
no,
never
you
watched
just
this commercial?
dropped a legitimate Jackson character trait though. You
right there, I think
throughout
that
the
just-
podcast, you will come out of nowhere and have like the best obscure references like that. I can't say I always get them, but they always make me chuckle.
You've
It's
never-
like, yeah,
you've never heard
of
of the
course, the
red-
red shoulder demon at the
so,
end
okay,
of the
so the red
True
shoulder
Moon
demon comes up and
commercial.
he takes a sip of it, and he's trying to like the good shoulder demon is trying to tell the guy to drink Trumu, and the red shoulder demon is trying to tell him to not. And he takes one sip of it, and he's like, I got nothing, because like he genuinely doesn't have anything to complain about. Like
He's just like, it's good.
yeah, he's like, it's good, but like for me, I got nothing. But like I got nothing to say. Yeah, I'm Jackson. I make a lot of obscure random references and I guess allegories, tie-ins to just
Jackson's
stuff.
he's very quirky, very obscure. He's a bit of a silly guy.
I'm in the volunteer fire company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So every now and then on the podcast, if there's something that people need to discuss in terms of just like fires and stuff, especially Corporal Jackie dying, I'm there to discuss the realism of it, but also the fact that they should make an ASMR of Corporal Jackie burning up.
Have there been any particular like weird or memorable fires? Because I have a friend out where I live who's also in the volunteer fire department, and recently a Tops freezer caught on fire, and he was called to that, and that just lives on as like the weirdest fire that he's ever been called to. But yeah, have you had any weird fires?
Yeah.
I guess there's been a few weird ones. The only fire that I've ever been to was at the apartment building right like across the street from Matthew and I's apartment building.
Yeah,
So
we woke up at like 4 in the morning.
I woke up at 4 in the
It was
morning, and
burning.
I just like I heard a fire truck go by, and I was like, "What?" So I woke up. I just look out the window, and there's just this massive, like 10-foot, 15-foot flames just shooting out the top of the building. There was another one where they thought an old guy had died because like somehow he tripped his life alert. So the EMS guys were looking for him, and they knocked on his door, and he said like, "I'm fine, like I don't know, I guess like the life alert just went off." And then we hear on the radio our chief saying, "The man says that he will not come to the door because he is exhausted, tired, old, and quite frankly, it is 9:00 at night." He's just lying in bed. He's like, "No, I'm not going down the stairs just so you can
Just
check
to
up
tell
on
you
me."
that I'm fine.
Like, I'm fine.
Right.
So that was kind of fun. Oh yeah, I guess we got a third fun story. So a person got into an accident.
Silly.
This is just the real knee slapper right here.
Oh.
Okay, no. So he was okay. He was fine. And when we're going to accidents, we have these reflective vests that we have to put on over our turnout gear because like they want like cars need to see you and stuff.
Yeah.
And the man, we give him a reflective vest, and he goes, "Yeah, no thanks, I already got one." Pulls out his reflective vest. Someone starts sort of telling him what to do, just like sort of like stay out of the road, like stuff like that. He's like, "Yeah, I got it." And we realize that on the back of his shirt, it says like top rated firefighter of 2016 or something. So he was a firefighter. He had already like won awards for rescue, which is like accidents and stuff. Literally knew all the stuff and was just helped us out the whole time.
What if the guy that got in the accident was just like on an episode of Undercover Boss?
Dude, yeah, what if he was like your
Wow.
Dude, what if like your fire chief just like gets himself in a fake accident to see how you guys
Right, and then see how you guys respond.
Dude, that'd be hilarious actually.
I don't think that was
Awesome.
what happened, though. I think that was just a coincidence. Stuff like that happens.
But
all the
we
time.
can't
No.
know for sure.
We'll never know. Dude.
All right, folks, I'm not gonna sugarcoat the story. I'm not gonna make you sit on the edge of your seats waiting to hear what happened. I'm just gonna give it to you straight. Phineas Gage was a man who lived in the 1840s and got a giant javelin blasted through his skull and survived.
It was really wild. He was blasting holes in the rock. He was trying to like blast rock open for the railroad, okay?
He was singing the "I've been working on the railroad all the livelong day" song.
Yeah, he was
getting
doing
the
that.
guys fired up.
He was doing that. They were all working on the tracks, okay? Just blasting rock, okay? So basically blowing up rocks. Like this is the ultimate pinnacle like based man type of stuff that we do.
Right.
Okay, like this guy's cool already. And then they put blasting powder in a hole and a fuse, so they were gonna blow this up. And they put a massive iron rod in to like cover the hole. And he proceeded to just kind of forget, and then the ground blows up, and so it's just a massive. The earth is now a gun, and it fires this rod straight up. It doesn't stick in his skull; it just straight slices through it.
This rod went straight through the middle of the skull, like just straight. Like I can't really describe this to you guys, but like just
Yeah, it just. Jackson, this is not the hole that the rod went through.
oh
That is.
oh.
This is the hole that connects it to the base of the spine.
Never mind. Okay. All right, never mind.
Dude, you're supposed to have that hole there.
So okay, so
it
I
drives
take
me
this.
insane.
I take this back. So the rod did not go straight through his skull. It did, but it
I mean,
didn't.
it
straight through
did,
the
but
front,
not
Yeah.
straight
It, no,
through
it
the-
did. It went straight through the skull. It definitely.
It went straight through kind of like the bottom of his left eye almost and went up through the top of his head. So it wasn't like a dead-on like headshot. It went
Yeah.
through kind of the bottom out the top. And that sounds really nasty, and it was.
Yeah, it was.
But he lived.
Just to dispel a common myth here, I was always told, or I guess thought, that he dropped this iron in the hole and then was trying to get it out, and then like bent down to get it out as the fuse blew, and that's what put it through his head. But it looks like it was already in there to begin with.
From what I'm getting on the Wikipedia, it looks like Phineas was standing near the hole and he looked over his shoulder at just the wrong moment.
Yeah, okay,
he was
so
going to
it
talk
was
to somebody,
just,
and then
yeah.
the incident occurred.
Yeah, so he wasn't just standing there looking at it like, hey guys, blow it up, let's see what happens. Like, this was just simply him being in the wrong place at the wrong time. So I don't just want to say that he did this and just immediately walked it off and was like, yep, no. He, got blasted through the head, proceeded to fall backwards, and had some reportedly brief convulsions. Where, naturally he was just not doing too well, but within a few minutes was capable of speech and proceeded to walk away without requiring much assistance at all, and sat upright in a cart for 3/4 of a mile back to the hometown, or back to the closest town, which is really impressive.
So wait, you're telling me the gunpowder goes off, javelin blasts through his head, lands 80 feet away, and he just kind of got up after a few minutes and was like, oh, my head hurt.
He got up, he was like, ow, frick, after kind of twitching on the ground a bit, and people were like, well, frick, he's dead. He gets up and he's like, man, what just happened? And it's like, well, that doesn't feel too good. It seems like it doesn't say anything about the pain per se, and the way that he's acting, seeing as he just sits upright in a cart for 3/4 of a mile and then walks into the doctor's office and says, doctor, here's business enough for you.
What a raw
It doesn't
line.
sound like it was like debilitating pain for him. Like, it sounds like he was able to literally walk it off by the end. Like, it doesn't.
Oh,
So
yeah.
he may have been like half in shock though too.
Yeah, that's very likely it was. Like,
Well, yeah, I mean, the body's probably like, ayo, what the?
you should not be alive.
I mean, he could also talk and he could walk, meaning that he wasn't that much in shock either.
Well,
And he was
there's still-
quipping,
okay,
too.
It depends. Maybe he just had more adrenaline than any human should ever have. But either way.
So we get a little bit of the perspective of what Phineas was thinking during all this. It says here, according to Wikipedia, that being unaccustomed to military surgery, the patient, being Phineas, nonetheless bore his sufferings with the most heroic firmness. He said that he hoped he was not much hurt. He seemed to be perfectly conscious, but was obviously kind of exhausted. Though he was a sorry sight, apparently he was
kicking.
He was holding it together, yeah.
He took it like an absolute lad.
He did.
He really did.
So I guess after this injury, he was prone to not only personality changes, but also seizures, which eventually seemed to have claimed his life rather young. He was 36.
A lot of people just kind of know Phineas Gage as, Spike went through his head, but he lived. But there's a lot more, afterwards as a result of,
Yeah, I mean, one does
the
not get
incident.
a javelin through their brain without some,
without some minor mishaps,
unfortunate
but-
consequences. But
but
I'd say if you
it's
live through that, that's a pretty good.
Yeah, that's a pretty big
good result.
pretty big plus. So no, he lived through it.
Unfortunately, Gage's friends found him to be, I quote, no longer Gage. He just was never quite the same after that, which, I mean, fair.
Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, apparently they said that he spoke with like the most like repulsive manner or whatever. Like it's gonna be in here somewhere.
They said the balance between his intellectual faculties and animal propensities seemed gone. He could not stick to plans. He uttered the grossest profanity and showed little deference for his fellows.
So it was profane. It wasn't just like he didn't speak right. It was like so it was profane language.
Yeah, and I guess the railroad company refused to take him back, it seems, which they could have done that for a number of reasons. But if they did that just because of his sailor mouth, like you gotta be way off the deep end to cuss out the railroad workers. I feel like it just seems like they were probably no strangers to some sailor lingo.
I think he gets a pass.
He was invited to Chile to work as a long-distance stagecoach driver. So yeah, he was supposed to like take care of the horses because he found it difficult to connect with people after the accident.
He apparently spent some time traveling through New England and Europe. He briefly worked at a livery stable in New Hampshire, spent 7 years as a stagecoach driver in Chile, eventually moved to San Francisco to live with his mother as his health deteriorated. And after a series of seizures, he passed away on May 21st, 1860, which is 12 years after the incident.
Can we talk about the fact that all these pictures of him are of him just carrying the spike that went through his head? Like, he just carries this thing with him.
Does he?
Yeah. And all of like the portraits of him that you see on like the Wikipedia, the big thing he is carrying, that is not just an object. That is the spike that went through his head.
Where did the spike end up? Is it kept somewhere?
I mean, it looks like he apparently had it because he.
Yeah, it seems to have been like his.
It looks like he's about to use it as a weapon.
Yeah, like, can you imagine putting this guy, Phineas Gage, on the Habakkuk, dude? He would literally just like
with his own skull javelin just run around.
So, has anybody else ever survived anything like this? Or is Phineas Gage the one exception?
Yes, they have, but that is...
I have.
Topic... Yeah.
Actually, this is a true story.
Yeah, what?
I have a story of a traumatic projectile going through my skull when I was a lad.
Oh.
I was like... I don't know how old I was. This is a very early memory. I must have been like 5 or 6. There was this guitar that was sitting on the edge of our couch. The big part of it with the strings was kind of hanging off the couch a little bit, like suspended over the carpet.
Please tell me you did not wedge an entire guitar into your skull.
I did.
Oh my.
I ran up to
Dude.
it. My mom was literally having tea or coffee with a friend of hers that had come from like out of state. Chilling in the living room. I'm there with them, and I just got like this mad idea to just yeet my entire body mass onto the big end of the guitar that was hanging off the end of the couch. So then the lighter end just catapulted up and hit me directly in the forehead. Next thing I remember is looking into a mirror with blood streaming down my face as my mom is like putting something on the wound. This was by no means like a skull splitting injury, but for me at the time I was like, I survived.
Like, yeah, I remember getting like little injuries like that and thinking you'd just been shot and you were like, you were never going to be the same again. Did you have like scars from that?
Oh, I still do. It's like right above my one eyebrow. It's barely noticeable. I'd have to point it out for one to notice it.
I have a bunch of like really tiny scars like on my hands and stuff, and I have no idea where they came from. I think that's actually one of the signs of being a lizard person that we discussed many episodes
it might
ago.
Be.
But yeah, I have several.
Yeah, I tripped and I fell and my leg hit the gravel outside of it, and that's how I got the scar on my left knee. It's still there to this day.
Oh God, dude! Can you see that thing right there? Seriously, that's what you did?
Yeah, did you not know that?
Dude, that's awful.
Have you ever noticed that scar on my left knee?
All the time, dude. I notice it every time.
He sees it every day.
Knees, I think, man, why does he have that?
So yeah, Phineas Gage. I opened up this tale with a lot of energy because I was like, "Yeah, man survives spike through brain." But at the end of the day, it is kind of an unfortunate story, and it's definitely not. Definitely not. You know, a nice campfire story to tell or anything. But it's interesting, and I dare say it's metal as heck. Hi again, it's Jesse. Hope you enjoyed this episode of the Deep Lore Boys podcast. You can find more episodes of our show on YouTube and Spotify, which we encourage you to share with your friends so we can grow the podcast. And drop a comment down below if you're feeling extra generous. Thanks so much for listening, and I hope your day is nothing short of interesting. Take care.
I'm going to go post that one on twitter.com.